Welcome to Talk on the Pod, the podcast where we delve into the remarkable journey of the Takim Foundation's community, who are showcasing the best of the Arab world and paving the way for a brighter future. I'm your host, Andrea. Today's episode is about education, innovation, and resilience with educator and changemaker Nayla Fahed. Nayla has dedicated her life to transforming education in Lebanon. After spending over 2 decades teaching at St. Joseph University, a volunteer experience in hospitals opened her eyes to the challenges faced by children with chronic illnesses. This moment inspired her to co-found Lebanese Alternative Learning and launch Tabshoura, a free digital learning platform designed to reach vulnerable children. In this conversation, we'll talk about what it takes to bring education to underserved communities, the challenges of integrating technology in a country facing ongoing crises, and why hope and resilience are at the heart of her mission. We'll also dive into the impact of her work on refugee communities, the future of education in Lebanon, and what it means to empower students and teachers through innovation. Let's get started. Nayla, welcome to Talk on the Pod.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you for being here with us today. I would love to start from the beginning, maybe take us to what first inspired you to venture into education, and if there was a particular moment or person that made you realize that this was the path for you.
And as a background, I used to be an academic teacher.
Oui.
So I used to work at the St. Joseph University of Beirut. So education was part of my DNA, I would say. I started as a teacher and a researcher. What brought me into creating a nonprofit organization and working on digital education, in fact, was concours de circonstances, was an incident. So what brought me to digital education and creating a non-profit organization was a friend of mine who were following a treatment in hospital. Mm-hmm. I discovered the space where children were trying to learn while following long-term treatment. I volunteered to support children in going through the official exams that they used to take in hospitals. So I worked with those students, and in my work at the university, I was a French literature teacher, but also a very tech one. So I used to be the guinea pig of the education innovation department, where I used to try every single new platform, digital resource, etc. And my colleague who saw me writing, exercises for those children in hospital told me, but you are the French tech person. What about creating a platform for them? And this is where, as a small project, as a small volunteering project with other co-minded colleague supporting, we created this small initiative. So those are the beginnings of Lebanese Alternative Learning. So this is the early start.
And in talking about your experience volunteering in those hospitals with those, in need kids specifically, what gap did you notice that made you want to create an alternative for their education and specifically resort to technology?
At the hospital, the only thing that really struck me was the happiness that those children felt while learning. Mm-hmm. I had friends telling me, those are children, going through treatment. Why are you making them suffer? And in fact, it was not suffering at all. Mm. So the happiness of the children continuing learning in another way by using a platform, mm-hmm. was really the first thing that really struck me. And being in a university and working in an education department and on education, very quickly we saw that this project could not only stay, it still is in hospital, but could not stay in the closed wall of a hospital. It should be supporting other children all over Lebanon. And one of the main challenges that led the way we are developing content was this accumulated gaps and this difference in education between children, privileged children who can access privileged school and have innovative ways of learning, and the rest who could not. And this gap was growing larger day by day. And bridging this gap, filling this gap was, I think, the second objective that made us scale our project from working with an organization called My School Pulse in hospital and trying to scale what our small initiative in all areas of Lebanon.
And you noticed, you mentioned something interesting along the lines of learning as well-being and it's not supposedly just suffering. Did you notice a positive response when you started, scaling your initiative and branching out to different sorts of community?
One fundamental of our work in creating, so we create digital learning platforms. So our platform is called Tabshoura, and it's a student-centered platform. And one fundamental of this platform is giving the child the autonomy to learn and discover by his own. And this is where I felt this approach really made a difference. A child who feels that he can, because often in our conventional way of education, a teacher speaks and the students are passive learner, passive listener. And by creating not only digital courses, but what we call digital learning experience. We follow a discovery methodology. So we ask the student to discover by doing activities, trying to solve problems, to discover the concept by himself. And this process of self-guided learning, this process of discovery, we really felt it makes a big difference. A big difference because, first, I will say it brings happiness, what I call an eureka moment. The happiness of finding a concept and discovering that you can learn by yourself and you can achieve something. And this sense of achievement is the first, I think, outcome. The second outcome that self-directed learning gives is self-confidence. A child who is discovering by himself feels he can do, he can go further. So I think those two impacts were fundamental in our work and our development of the platform, because we are always developing. We are from an academic background, so research and evidence are part of our work. We do not hesitate to change, to take different paths when the field shows us that changes are needed or something is not really impacting the learning of the students.
And it's in this flexibility of adapting and changing, I think that you really prove why this flexible approach to learning through digital platform could be an interesting alternative to consider from just a traditional chalk to board. And with that said, I would love to hear the story to why did you choose Tabshoura as the name of the learning platform, which means chalk in English.
So the idea of Tabshoura was One of the question I'm always asked is, can a child learn on Tabshoura and not go to school? Well, this was not our aim. We do not want the students not to interact with other students, go to school. We want Tabshoura to be a flexible tool that can provide full learning if there are school disruption. We live in Lebanon and we know those are frequent. We want Tabshoura to be support for the teacher, be used by the student himself. So we want to be flexible. And the idea of Tabshoura is highlighting this continuity. We are not replacing the board and the chalk and the Tabshoura. We are just continuing this education.
This approach. And it might not be easy scaling when it comes to, digital first platforms. What would you say are some hurdles you faced when trying to bring it to life, specifically when it comes to approaching those underserved communities and this access to internet and online connectivity? There must be a big gap to bridge to get them on those platforms. So how did you face those challenges?
A question I'm often also asked, how do you do digital for underserved communities? They need to have internet, they need to have devices. And this is also one of the core of our organization. So it's EdTech, and tech is an important part of it. So what we research, develop, and innovate in is way of reaching underserved community by providing offline digital resources. So we have several ways of providing, at least two, of providing offline digital resources. We have an app that allows to download content and be used offline. But we also have what we call Tabshoura in a box. That Tabshoura in a box are small servers that are uploaded with our full program, full content. And anyone who is in a space around this box can connect to the box. It's like an intranet, and download with zero internet use the content on the device he has. The second thing is the devices. So we know in underserved, everybody has a mobile phone. So we did a need assessment, and other also did need assessment. Everybody have a smartphone, even a simple one. So what we did also is to adapt our platforms to phones. So we have a website, and we have an app that works on phone or tablets. What we also do is we work a lot on the resolution and the need for internet of our digital online resources. Yes, we can do more movie and make it more colorful. We use simple colors. We try to use a good resolution, but not a high resolution for our images. So we take a lot of, we think a lot about the way we are creating content to be, to reach underserved community. Plus, lately, as the organization grew, and we try in many of our projects, we try to integrate tablets donation. And we have thought about and implemented this idea of tablets that are rotating among children. So no need to have a tablet per child, which is impossible. But having tablets for an institution, be it an NGO or a school, having tablets that the students will take, bring back, other students will take, bring back, implement this rotation of tablets model is also something we are lately adopting.
And I also appreciate how you've considered all the aspect of the model, from creating the courses to getting that technology in the hands of the correct community and all the thoughtful initiative you've started to be able to provide this experience. I would love to maybe focus on the other end of, the teacher dealing with those students, and how does this digital capacity enable them to maybe deliver learning at a more adaptive pace, and be able to have an effect on more and more students.
So here I would really like to start by saluting teachers. We have a preconceived idea of, teachers in the public sector or in underserved area being less good or innovative than teachers in this privileged education sector that we have mostly around Beirut and Lebanon. I just want to see that I have encountered amazing teachers in a really underserved, remote area. I have seen a teacher innovating with what they had, and it was humiliating experience. It made us realize that we thought we were doing something exceptional, having ideas in our office, and then we go to this remote village, to this remote area, and this teacher is doing far more impact by doing, by driving her car and giving education door to door during COVID, as an example. So I would really want to start by saluting those extraordinary people. Now, what we are doing for teachers is that we have created, so we have the Tabshoura platform for students, and during COVID, so Tabshoura the idea was born in 2012. So when COVID hit, we were ready with the Tabshoura platform. But we felt how much the teacher needed support, access to digital resources, support to understand how do I teach using digital resources. It's not a copy-paste of conventional education. Digital should be used where digital has a meaning. And if digital is not useful, maybe use something else. So we started developing and more thinking about teacher and developing a teacher professional platform, which is the Al-Mudarris platform, and also working hand in hand with teacher. Because when you work in the education, in any field, I guess, you quickly discover that between the idea you have in the office, in the security of your office, and the reality of the field, often they are clashes, they are differences. And to really understand the needs and answer those needs, we started creating this community of teachers with whom we reflect, from inception till conception and implementation. So they are part of our reflection. They are also free to give ideas or feedback on the work we have done. And lately, one of the initiatives we are working on is kind of creating probably a YouTube channel connected to Al-Mudarris, where we would like to highlight innovative initiative done by teachers, innovative ways of teaching.
Is there some memorable stories that come up to mind of something that, surprised you in that relationship in working on developing those digital learning processes?
The thing that really surprised me was the motivation of the students in learning, and I would say destruction of preconceived idea. So I had, like all of us, but I should have less because I work in education, I had a lot of preconceived idea. I thought I would go to the field and connect with students, and I have already imagined the challenges, what they will tell me, And it was not at all the case. So the children motivation to learn was amazing. The children motivation to support each other was also very inspiring. Seeing how the children learn, the way, where is the challenge, at what point is the difficulty that stops the students, was also something that I have learned in the field. So no, I don't think I have one striking moment, but a collection of many, many small striking moments.
In those moments that you reflected on, can you maybe reflect on the impact that came out of those platforms and reminded you why this work is so necessary?
Yes. I would like here to highlight the importance of having local people creating local content. And I think this work is essential because by doing so, not only you create a sustainable solution, but also you create a solution adapted to the need of the country. So something that is often happening in digital resources, we have the tendency to import digital resources. You have big name, you have great content, and using them from time to time is also something I value. I'm not saying throw everything that have been developed elsewhere, but having local people working with local beneficiary, creating a local platform answering the exact need of the field is also essential. Plus, developing those skills. Now we have a pool of 100 content developers that can adopt, develop digital script, create digital activities, work on a platform. And so this is also creating a local workforce is also essential. So this impact, I think, plus the impact on the students, of course, having a curriculum that is aligned with their own curriculum, securing them because they know if they have this chapter, they will find the same in the same level with the same objective on a platform that resemble what they have to learn in school. This is also another level.
You mentioned, this local outlook in your approach to building the platform. And just to put a perspective on the location we're at, Lebanon has definitely faced enormous challenges over the years. But from your perspective, what does the education system look like in the country today, and how do you see your platform stepping in with all the resources it has leverage and the perspective it has on the ground in aiding the way things are today?
I have many levels of answers. So I would say that we are very hopeful now with this new government to be able to make a change in the education system. I would say that for me, one of the main challenges, and that might be surprising, is international aid. International aid for two reasons. International aid because no aid is completely free. So you have international aid, but you have requirement. Percentage of beneficiaries, percentage of things, this kind of project, not that kind, this education decision, not that one. So you have, with the donation, you have requirements that are not always fitting a national strategy that we now have. We didn't have then. So many projects, many directions due to many funds. Funds is also corruption. So funds is money. Money makes everybody wants to get a part of that money. Money is also what put people against each other because when funds come, it's often a competition between who will get the fund. And for me, one thing that should be is when we have a fund because we have a project that is strategic in education for us, we should choose the organization, institution, companies that should work for this project, and not launch this, I would say, negative competition between people working together. So for me, it goes with local.
Yeah.
Empower local. Stop international funding with not fitting a strategy. International funding should align to our education strategy. And we should not change our education strategy because we are expecting a big amount of money. And this is difficult. If I was the one who took the decision, I know I would have hesitated. We need the money.
Yeah.
But we do not want to compromise. So how do we do it? I know it's difficult, but I think this is a reflection to have about international aid.
Yeah. In the spirit of reflection, it's known that there's a big export of brain power that comes from our region, specifically in Lebanon, with brilliant people always succeeding when they go abroad. And most of the times that originates in our country. And I think it's thanks to a very strong education system. What would you say are some pillars that make it so successful? And with that, how can we take inspiration to level out this proper distribution of education across communities?
I would not say it's only the education system. The education system plays a part, but since the golden year of our great education system and the actual one, a lot of challenges have happened. I would say what make Lebanese brilliant elsewhere is one, the adaptability, two, the problem solving. And this is where education should go. Education today should go toward situation where the students would have a problem to solve and would try to use the concept they have learned to solve this problem. I think in Lebanon we have so many problems to solve.
Yeah.
We have to be so much adaptable, so much flexible, that this gives us essential skills for the 21st century. The 21st century is a century where we change a lot of jobs, people change a lot of paths in their life, of career, and for that they need to be flexible, they need to be adaptable, they need to learn new skills, and they need to solve problems. So I think this is one of our greatest key to success.
I wanted to also highlight some of the achievable work you've done in coming up with your platform to really spread the mission with more broader and broader communities. You've partnered with the Malala Fund to develop STEM modules for Syrian refugee girls. Why was it important for you to expand into different regions and different initiatives?
This is the start. This is where we were exploring what we could do and how we could innovate. So STEM at that moment was the innovation in education, and using digital for STEM is normal. And so we started with this project called Girls Can Count. The idea was to give those girls the opportunity to develop in engineering, math, problem solving, and to see they can do it. They do not have, at that period, it was the beginning of the Syrian refugee crisis, girls were in those education centers, you had this segregation of gender. So girls will be nurses, hairdressers, makeup artists, and boys will, I don't know, repair cars and do electric. And we wanted to bridge this and to work with girls to tell them you can also do that. And if you want to be an engineer, if you want to do electricity, please believe in yourself and fight for your dream. We are also lately expanding to Palestine, so we have a project called Tabshoura for Palestine, which will be an adaptation of we work with a Palestinian organization partner, and they will be adapting Tabshoura. Tabshoura will help them save time because they will not have to create a whole curriculum. They will do translation and adaptation work with our support.
And what is your hope for the expansion of the mission to help make a difference? What's the ideal future you visualize?
The future I visualize and I believe in for Lebanon is creating long life learner. And to create long life learner, for me, the step that we are taking is by our self-guided learning methodology, is by having self-directed learning, focusing on the children self-confidence and ability to learn by themselves. I hope this will lead them to become lifelong learners because they will discover they can learn by themselves, they can do things.
You've dedicated your life to helping others learn, grow, and thrive. When you reflect on this journey and the people you've met along the way, what were the most meaningful lessons for you personally, and what reflections on education specifically on the meaning it gave you?
My answer would be teamwork. And here I'm thinking about the amazing team of LAL, of the Lebanese Alternative Learning. I think one of the most meaningful things I have learned is the value of working with people from. And LAL's team has a specificity to be very diverse. So working with people from different background, different areas of Lebanon, and working all together, thinking all together, becoming united all together. I used to say becoming a family, but now I know that family is not necessarily a positive thing. In fact, becoming professional and supporting us supporting each other is, I would say, one of the most meaningful thing I have learned.
And just to give a word of advice on anyone that is wanting to create a new initiative or make a difference as Lebanon heads into a new chapter, what would you say to promote local initiatives that promote local talent, industry, and resources?
Humility. I would say start by being humble on what you want to create. Create, take advices, consult, make it go step by step. Because I have seen a lot of great idea being completely stopped because of wanting to do too much too fast and believing too much in the ability. I think everything has been created elsewhere.
That is true.
The innovation that we can bring is sometimes using old technology and making it new. The way you choose the technology, you put things together. So definitely take it with humbleness.
I would love to end with a few rapid-fire questions that you can answer in a word or a few sentences. So, to start, what is a lesson from Lebanese culture that has shaped your work in education?
Problem solving.
What is your go to spot in Lebanon when you need inspiration or a moment of calm?
Uh, Anywhere in front of the sea.
And if you could change one thing about Lebanon's future starting tomorrow, what would it be?
I would have say his political people, but now we are hoping so. So it's not what comes to mind quickly. If the way we drive.
Thank you so much, Nayla, for being here with us today.
Thank you, Andrea, for having me.